This week, it's complicated. Why does the idea of conveyance, whether that's through speech or physical delivery, have to get junked up 3 times a year for us to have it at all? Mercury, the planet of conveyance, goes retrograde 3 times a year. I'll put this in a separate video. And we also have Venus conjoining the South Node and squaring Pluto. At least you have your composure. Or maybe something fun is happening, but it mixes business or some sort of hardcore spirituality into it. It's complicated. On Monday, Mercury will aspect Neptune, coming off the full moon. Still in Gemini, so ruled by Mercury, in detriment in Sagittarius. This is not the best combination of circumstances for conveying something clearly or getting somewhere on time. And if Mercury is going to square Neptune, it's not the best to have the moon working for Mercury, still in Gemini, full of light and energy. The moon's the activator of the solar system, so that square with Neptune is going to be activated. I'll give you the other dates. So that's on November 27th. So this is the beginning of a story. And if you know your chart, take a look at the houses that Mercury and where it's placed natally, the house it's placed. So write this down and then just promptly lose it, because who cares? It might happen anyway. That's Mercury in Sagittarius squaring Neptune. So Monday, November 27th. Then, whilst retrograde in Sagittarius, Mercury will square Neptune again, December 27th. And then, after it stations direct, it will square Neptune again on January 9th. Not only is this Mercury in detriment, which isn't the best thing for the things that Mercury does, conveyance. It's squaring Neptune, so it's not even just like the square aspect represents some sort of conflict or like a car crash. They're coming from opposite directions and they're not even complementary, really. Neptune is an archetype of not specificity. Neptune is very not specific, so Mercury likes to be specific, and Mercury likes to be specific and explain things clearly, or be specific and get things from point A to point B, or be highly skilled somehow. Neptune is naturally blurry, as that's from a Mitch Hedberg joke. He said that Bigfoot is naturally blurry. Neptune is great for spirituality, where everything blends together. We're all one thing. It's not the best for Mercury, but it's good for being psychic. If you need to be psychic, these squares with Mercury and Neptune might force you to be that. It's also Neptune in Pisces, so when a planet makes an aspect to another planet in different signs, you kind of get a little flavor of each planet in that sign that the other planet is aspecting it from. So Mercury will get a little bit of Mercury in Pisces flavor, which is also not great for the archetype of Mercury. Mercury is considered fallen in Pisces. So everything that Pisces is about, everything is all one. Mercury does like to be coherent. However, the type of coherence offered by Pisces is idealistic and abstract and spiritual and emotional. And all of these things combined together aren't great for getting things communicated clearly, getting things from point A to point B on time and accurately, getting the right thing from point A to point B on time. So attention to detail. If you need to do a thing this week that requires attention to detail, things are going to start falling off. Otherwise, if you have the option to choose whether or not to do a thing that requires attention to detail, if it can wait until mid-January, you could do that. But we can't put our lives on hold. Sometimes this is the quality of the time. So things are going to be difficult to get the details right, to get the thing conveyed clearly, accurately, on time, to get the right thing conveyed. That's just what's happening right now. So Monday, Mercury square Neptune. Something that Mercury in Sagittarius is quite good for is sales. People who have Mercury in Sagittarius, who I know, are all very good salesmen. So the coffee is for closers, or the fishy broth is for closers this week. I think P.T. Barnum had Neptune in Sagittarius, which Neptune is in Pisces right now, but Neptune will get some Sagittarius flavor. Mercury in Sagittarius squaring Neptune is a bit of a hot mess, hot, wet mess. And that's the vibe. Mercury likes to be specific and factual. Like that's, if you want vibing, you can have that this week. And then on Tuesday, the moon pings some outer planets, then opposes Mercury. This square with Neptune, and which is sort of like it's like a kickoff call for Mercury retrograde gone wrong. Don't schedule your kickoff calls for Monday or Tuesday. So Tuesday, the 27th, the moon makes an opposition with Mercury in detriment in Sagittarius, freshly having squared Neptune, and then it moves into Cancer. Monday and Tuesday, very retrograde, becoming very retrograde. And Tuesday, if you can, you might want to clean house and prepare for whatever's happening on Wednesday, which is Venus conjoining the south node. Also, maybe on Tuesday, maybe you lose something that you don't find till January. If you lose something on Monday or Tuesday, don't plan on finding it till January or until the next Mercury retrograde, which will be April Fool's Day. On Wednesday, the moon trines Saturn, which is a little bit of foreshadowing. It will also sextile Jupiter, so that's nice. But in between those things, we have Venus conjoining the south node. So whatever happens with that, maybe it's something minor that you're like, I don't want to do it that way anymore, or I don't want this thing anymore. With the south node, if you don't intentionally give up something, sometimes things are just eliminated. And sometimes that's painful. And, you may have seen this start to get teed up starting around November 8th when Venus entered Libra. But there's like the bottom coming out of something. And it might just be like, the south node is very much about austerities and all the spiritual trappings that come with that, of intentionally choosing it or of having to go through a time of austerity in order to grow. In the book, I think it's in Be Here Now, it might be in another Ram Dass book, he talks about a time when he was living in the ashram and he wasn't allowed to touch money. So if he wanted an ice cream cone, he had like a buddy who had the money, and if he wanted money, that he had to it was based on this relationship. He had to have somebody else buy things for him, and that was an intentional austerity in order to impart some spiritual benefit. Also, if something bad happens, it's Venus in Libra, so at least you'll be able to find your grace. If something happens that is not exactly pleasurable, or if you're seeking pleasure and it's not exactly what you wanted or thought you wanted, at least you can find that place within you that's very presidential. Imagine, whatever happens, imagine you're a public figure and you must conduct this with a sense of royalty. It's like you're trying to jump between cliffs and maybe you fall, and luckily it's not, maybe there's soft cushions under the cliff, but you didn't make it to the other side like you wanted. But everything's okay, or maybe everything's not okay, but you are able to conduct yourself with grace. The moon makes a sextile to Jupiter after that, on Wednesday, and Jupiter is ruled by Venus right now, Jupiter in Taurus. So there is a silver lining. It's just kind of cold. It has no heart. Our heart has no heart right now. It's cold, but it's good. It's like Whitney Houston. It's not right, but it's okay. On Thursday, the moon just makes a couple of aspects to some outer planets again. So you get a break from whatever happened on Wednesday, whatever happened on Monday or Tuesday. There might be a little opportunity to do something unexpected or to somehow make lemonade out of whatever the hell Monday and Tuesday was about. And on Friday, the moon seeks comment from Venus. Venus is not having it. So there's some sort of resurgence of what happened on Wednesday. Venus, having freshly conjoined the south node, is not having it. So then the moon seeks comment from Pluto. And that sets up Venus squaring Pluto on Sunday, but I'll get to that. Also on Friday, Mercury enters Capricorn, which it will enter Capricorn from Sagittarius again, a second time this season on January 14th. So you'll get something happening now. You get a do-over. This shift in tone, you get a do-over. And the moon immediately moves off axis from Mercury and Capricorn. The moon moves into Leo, where it's not really touching that story. So it's kind of like a to be determined situation. And from that, Friday ends in a kind of, Friday could be exhilarating after the moon enters Leo, because we get a trine to Mars and a square to Jupiter. So Friday starts maybe awkwardly, maybe with some foreshadowing, maybe with an epilogue from Wednesday, and it ends vigorously. And on Saturday, we get the first of 3 sextiles to Saturn from Mercury. So Mercury in Sagittarius squares Neptune 3 times during this upcoming retrograde season, and from Capricorn sextiles the ruler of Capricorn, Saturn, 3 times. Again, this is like the pitch, the sales from earlier in the week. Maybe you sold someone the wrong thing, or maybe like you buy something that is now, how do we update this product? Or bookkeeping, or where is my money going? This is like the P&L sheet, except it's Saturn in Pisces, so it's some sort of psychic download of the P&L sheet. Maybe when you're doing your profit and loss, you find hidden stairs to a hidden realm. It's very concrete and it's very metaphorical. Perhaps in doing some sort of rote practical task, you discover a larger truth. You discover something that's holding you back. And you'll have an opportunity to look at this a couple more times throughout the winter. This sextile to Saturn, Mercury in Capricorn, sextile Saturn in Pisces, happens December 2nd on Saturn's day, and then again on December 21st, the solstice, and then again on January 18th. It's a little bit House of Leaves. the whimsical heaviness of hidden structure. And then on Sunday, to wrap up the week, we get the moon squaring Uranus in a Venus-ruled sign, Venus squaring Pluto. So maybe something that with Wednesday and Venus in the South Node, if the South Node takes away a lot, you could have a sense of not having control. And with squaring Pluto, there could be some signature of overcorrecting with too much control, or because of a sense of deprivation, maybe you feel as though you are being controlled, or perhaps some strength has been taken away from you and it's easier for you to be manipulated or for others to feel as though they can prey upon you physically or psychologically. So there's like a power struggle, which is like a very typical Pluto term. Again, from what I said last week, there's a tiny drop of corruption. This is like a little bit too much. This like darkens the waters significantly, or it can if you don't see it coming. You don't have to engage, but there's some sort of conflict, or it's just like bonded. Maybe that's good. Maybe you like that, because afterwards the moon sextiles Venus from Leo. So that could be a high note. And to end the week, the moon moves into Virgo and opposes Saturn. So this week, are your needs getting met? Check in with that. Your responsibilities are somehow at odds with your needs. Again, it happens once a month. Every month. So this week, communication gets junked up. It will keep getting junked up. Just get used to it. Figure out a way to navigate it with grace. There is another situation that's separate that also needs to be handled with grace. Stay focused, but don't get lockjaw. And remember, your Wi-Fi is a camera that can see through walls.